When Richard and I first talked to the clients, they had some very specific things in mind that they wanted to achieve. They wanted to design a large garden in the English style. In fact, they had just come back from England touring many gardens like that. They wanted to use roses and perennials and actually make roses the stars. They wanted to incorporate traditional features in a garden like this, such as a secret garden and a ha-ha. And they wanted to make it a garden you could wander through. This is an overview of the property taken from Google Earth as it looked when they first purchased it. The architect is designing the house, and in fact that process is ongoing now, and the gardens won't start till that is done. But they wanted two things in particular. They wanted a formal garden, they also wanted a play area for the children. So that's why we have two gardens, one off the back and one off the side. To give them a better idea of where this would sit on the land, we actually imposed the plan over existing buildings. You can see the existing house, there's an existing tractor shed, there's an existing game room, existing barn, an existing implement shed. This kind of gives them an orientation and a feel for where the gardens and the spaces are going to be. And lastly, we just superimpose it over Google Earth to even give them a better idea. Either one of these formal areas can be the formal garden or the play area. They are interchangeable. We put a water feature on the one to the side to indicate it as the formal garden for now. It doesn't have to be a water feature. For example, it can be plantings in different layouts. Additional features we put in are a secret garden that could have an entrance like this. There's another tier to the garden that could contain fruit trees and some nice sitting spots, such as this. There's a more natural area with mown paths, is what we envision through there, and an alley of trees. This is an example of a mown path through a natural area. Then there's also the spine of the garden, which we talk about constantly. So the view is from the house straight down to the pond, and that's what holds the whole garden together. This area has wetlands, which have to have a buffer, so hence the two arrows are showing the outline of where the buffer for the wetlands needs to be. So we can't build in there, but we can plant. Here's a 3D view of the property taken from Google Earth. Superimpose the plan over it, and you can begin to see how it starts to lay out. One choice for the formal garden, the other choice for the formal garden or play area, the secret garden, the second tier fruit tree area, the alley of trees, and the mown path area. And lastly, the spine of the garden. There's another 3D view from Google Earth. Superimpose the plan over it. Another view with the plan imposed over it. And another one with the plan. One last view. Because part of the brief was to make this a garden you could wander through, we have many ways to move through and around the garden. From the house, there are 4 ways to enter the garden. The top one goes into a woodland garden. You can go into one of the formal or the children's play area. You can head down towards the second tier, or you can enter what we have as the formal garden off to the side of the house. When you're in what we now have as the formal garden, you can go in 2 directions to get out of there. From the other formal garden or play area, there's also 2 ways you can move through the garden. Once you get into that second tier by the secret garden, you can then either wander around, or you can enter the secret garden. From that second tier, you can even go back up into that formal garden. Once you're on that second tier, you've got 4 ways to step down to the more naturalized area. When you're in this more naturalized area, you can start by just wandering through it, through those mown paths. And once you get to the point that has the 2-direction arrow, you can move back up through the garden, or you also have the choice of heading back down towards the pond. Once you're at the pond, you can continue your wanderings by circling around the pond. We're going to talk a little about the ha-ha that we put in. This is not a traditional ha-ha because it has railings. They have young children, so that's why we're suggesting this go in now for safety's sake. And you can see the railing here. It's fairly unobtrusive, but at least it will be safe. When they're older, it could come out, and then it becomes a more traditional ha-ha. The steps down to the wild garden could also have gates for now, which again could be removed when the children are older. Another option is to plant below the ha-ha, and this is based on a photograph the client sent us. The plant's oak leaf hydrangeas, which are very carefree, and besides the beautiful spring flowering, you also get great fall color on the foliage. So there's options you can do with a space like this. A seating area was asked for. In fact, several seating areas were asked for. That was inspired by this photograph that the clients also sent us. And that's why we have the seating area that you see right here. Another request was to make the beds in the more formalized garden easier maintenance with either edging or something like that. You can see here they're raised slightly, and there's also a small line of brick or stone to keep the plants in check and keep the maintenance easier. That came from this photograph that I took in France. You can see the stone edging along the grass, and that makes it easier to maintain separation between the grass and the beds. We put in another seating area, but you will also notice arches for the roses that are repeated throughout the garden. This repeating of the architecture is one of the things that ties the whole space together. A more close-up view of the main series of arches that will be covered with roses and probably clematis. Looking back towards the house from the alley of trees by the pond, and it could look like this. We also proposed a traditional post and swag structure. This will be designed by the architect to aesthetically complement the architecture. This is what it might look like, covered in roses. They live in an area with a lot of deer, so we talked about a deer fence and some other ideas. We put up the idea of putting in a more traditional English hedgerow. These will grow very tall, and you can have a wire structure underneath them for support, and deer generally will not attempt to jump something like this. They're also great for wildlife. These are some of the more native plants that could make up a hedgerow. And this is perhaps what it might look like if you laid those plants out down the hedgerow. It's just allowed to naturalize and grow on its own. The vision for this garden is an English-style manor garden with a secret garden and ha-ha and roses and perennials and romance and places that pull you in to wander through. It serves the clients because they have young children, so there's a play area, which later on could become another more formal garden. There is a formal garden, and there's also relaxed areas as well. The house is currently being designed and then will be constructed, so it'll probably be the years 2020 or 2021 before this garden is finally realized. We've enjoyed working with the process, and we thought you might like to see a little bit what goes in behind the thinking of a garden such as this.